Hi, it's Steve and Kayla with Brownells, and we're back again. It's that time of year, and we want to look at the 5 greatest upgrades for your hunting rifle.
Yeah, Steve. So, just 5 upgrades that you should consider if you're considering upgrading your rifle at all. And number 1, I think, is probably the most needed in most cases, and that's going to be the optic, and as a bonus, kind of with that, the rings. Because a lot of times you'll see people complaining about their optics, or I couldn't see the deer or whatever, and you look and they got this like old Tasco scope that they got at like a Walmart bundle years ago or something like that.
Or a Weaver K4.
Or Weaver K4. Like
I saw you looking at it.
No, that's a good traditional. It's got that like classic hunting scope vibe.
That's the vibe. That's the whole vibe.
It's the vibe. It is the vibe, and that's not a bad scope. It's way better than those Tascos,
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I would, unfortunately. And then, because I had one of those, then it got upgraded to like the Nikon, like Buckmaster or something, and then to Leupold. And the difference was just night and day from every scale of that. And when it comes to scopes for hunting rifles, I'm not going to say specifically which one you should get, because there's a lot of really good ones out there. And you can spend very little on a scope, or you can spend a ton of money on a scope. I wouldn't recommend doing either. Just find something that's within your price range, but still not the bottom of the bucket.
Right, and some kind of proven platform that's been around for a few years.
Yeah. So, a good choice. Even the Leupolds now are pretty affordable. You can get the, I think the Rifleman's is what they're called.
Right.
And those are really affordable, but still really good optics.
Yeah.
And
optics have come a long way.
This is a VX2, which is also still very affordable and just a good optic.
Yeah, these days, the coating on the lenses is good even on a mid-range scope as compared to what it used to be. You had to go way high end to get something like that back in the day. That
technology's come a long way, and it's gotten a lot more affordable. So, and also we did mention the rings. So scope and rings we're kind of counting as one, even though they're 2 different things. But if you're going to upgrade your optic, we definitely recommend upgrading your rings.
Right.
And again, this goes back to like those Walmart bundles that you'll see a lot of. They have the worst rings on the planet on those things. Most of the time when people are putting them on, they strip out at least one of the screws because it's made out of like
soft, super soft.
some like Coke can, melted down Coke can aluminum, just the whatever recycled stuff. But anyway, aluminum rings are perfectly fine. You can get really good aluminum rings that aren't very expensive, like these Night Force ones here. These are aluminum. They're nice and lightweight, but they're very good quality rings. They're aluminum, but they have steel mounting points. And these are for 1913 rails. If you like the traditional style, like slim hunting look, those Leupold turn-in styles are one of my favorites for sure. Yep. Those are really good ones. Yep. And they're not like overly tactical.
Right, and they've been around forever. They work.
Yep, and then I have here some tallies.
Tallies are nice.
Tallies are nice. So these are nice and slim. These are split vertically, and then they mount onto a very thin base. So
the base is like a dovetail.
They don't take up much space at all. Nice, slim, traditional looking.
Those bases have a recoil abutment built onto them.
Yep.
Really nice.
Very nice.
And it's all steel.
And they'll last forever.
Yeah.
So that's the key word here. And it's relatively affordable for something that lasts forever. Mm-hmm. You'll never have to buy it again. If you keep buying cheap stuff, chances are you'll keep having to replace it. Mm-hmm. So that was a mouthful, but that was only number 1.
That was just number 1.
That was just number 1. Let's talk about number 2, and I think for this we can probably talk about the trigger.
Okay.
Because that's where another place a lot of people have issues. They'll buy a factory rifle and they won't be happy with the trigger, and for good reason, because a lot of times they're not great. And rather than doing the trigger job, in most cases, if you can replace the trigger, like you can on a lot of guns like Remington 700s and Howas and things like that, it's really easy to replace the trigger. And there are plenty of companies out there that make great triggers. We have Trigger Tech, you got Timney, you got Rifle Basics, just to name a few. And they make a ton of different triggers for different platforms and in different styles. So
Right, and Timney, I think, has the widest variety as far as, fitting Tikas and Seikos, everything out there.
I'd agree with that 100%.
I think they have a Mosin Nagant trigger.
They do?
Yeah.
So as far as like trigger companies go, they're probably my favorite just because they're the most versatile like that.
I always look first there because I know I'll find something there that'll fit my gun.
Yeah, and not only that, they have, you know, match triggers, and then they have triggers that are better suited for hunting, which the difference is this is going to be your pull weight range. For a hunting trigger, I like to be right around 3.5 pounds. I don't really like to go lower than that because, like on my own bench guns, I'll definitely go lower than that, but not on a hunting gun.
I want something I can feel under a glove.
Yeah.
Feel the pressure.
Yep, and yeah, a hair trigger while you're wearing gloves is just not a good combination.
Yeah, trigger improves everything. Your groups do shrink.
Yeah, yeah. Your ability to actually shoot that gun gets a lot better. And let's talk about stocks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
if you're a traditionalist or a modernist,
there's something for everybody. So your traditional wood stocks are a little trickier because typically you will have to bed those.
Yeah.
But
you got to be in it for the love of the hobby if you want to do a wood stock a lot of times.
That's right. And the only advantage to that, to a wood stock, is the traditional look. That's it.
Yep.
You kind of sacrifice everything else because the wood, you know, tends to flex in different weathers and things like that, humidity levels, and that can all affect the fit to the action, or the barreled action, and then that can potentially affect your group size.
Right.
I'm trying not to speak in definites here.
The laminated stocks less so.
Yep.
They're heavier a lot of times, but they're very stable under most conditions.
They are. And if you just want a good basic upgrade over, let's say you're having issues with the wood stock or one of your factory synthetic stocks, and you're shooting a common platform like a Howa or a Remington 700 or something like that, you know, Savages, you can get synthetic stocks like this one here. This is a Magpul one made for a Remington 700, and it's synthetic. It's got some M-LOK points up top, adjustable butt pad and cheek piece, so you can fine tune it to you, and then you also have this bedding block on the inside here.
Yep. So if you just want to tighten 2 screws and be done with the stock job, you can do that.
Yep. And no bedding needed. You just torque it in there, and you're good to go. You don't have to do anything else. Yep. And so that's a really good option. MDT also makes good stocks as well that are kind of similar to this one.
Very nice stocks. Yeah.
And there's really no wrong way to go with that. And then, so yeah, let's talk about muzzle brakes.
Well, okay. If you shoot a caliber that has a little more recoil than you enjoy, a muzzle brake can make it much more pleasurable to shoot.
Yeah, it certainly can. Especially your Magnum calibers, like your 7 mag, 300 Win Mag, things like that.
Something's what they call overbore.
Right.
You know, it's got a little more powder than it really can burn efficiently.
Yeah, and those tend to be they benefit the most from muzzle brakes because of that extra powder burn. As a general rule, the higher velocity your bullet, the better effect a muzzle brake's going to have on your recoil reduction.
Right.
So your bigger, fatter bullets like your 45-70 and stuff, they still work, just not as much.
No, they have a different expansion ratio, and it doesn't work the same.
Right, and it doesn't have to be like a big, bulky, tactical style muzzle brake.
No. The flush ones work really well.
Yeah, like this one right here. It looks like it's part of the barrel, but it's actually a brake that's been blended to the barrel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can be seamless and fit great and look just like that. And yeah, so I mean, you don't have to have something like super big and tactical. It can be nice and sleek.
And if you want to build a lightweight gun, adding the weight of a muzzle brake on there is well worth it, because when you lighten up that stock and you get a small scope, aluminum rings, feather barrel, that gun's going to kick if it's a Magnum of any kind, or even a 30-06 feels like a different gun when you do that.
It really does, yeah. And as another general rule, since we have a bunch of general rules, I guess, the lighter the gun, the more felt recoil.
Yeah.
Because the mass of the gun absorbs recoil energy. If there's less mass, there's more recoil energy.
Yeah. And those short barrel guns, tell you what, that muzzle brake has a lot of gas to work with when you shorten that barrel, and you got a lot of powder in that case.
Yep.
They become very effective then.
Yep.
The difference is night and day.
Yeah, so that's another thing to consider as well.
Yeah, if you got a long barrel 243, I don't know if I'd worry about a muzzle brake or not, but if you got a short barrel 30-06 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, a great idea. So.
Yeah, muzzle brakes are not all bad. I like them.
Yeah, how many was that? 4?
That was about 4.
We'll call it 4.
Yeah.
Let's number 5. This is kind of a interesting one, and not everyone will benefit from this. It all depends on how you're hunting. But a bipod, and again, bipods are something you can spend a ton of money on, or you can go really cheap. And again, we'd recommend not doing either for a hunting rifle. Just something mid-range to low mid-range is perfectly fine. This is a Magpul one, and it works okay. And this one right here fits directly into an M-LOK slot, so it's really easy to install. And let me
loosen it up.
Make sure it's adjusted here. And just like that, it is now
M-LOK. How about that?
Yep, it's now on this stock, and I can pull it right off and put it on another gun if I wanted to. So I don't have to. If I have multiple rifles, I don't have to have one that's married to it. You know, I can just get one and swap it around. And they make them in different mounting methods. You don't have to go with M-LOK. You can use a 1913 rail. You can use the one that just mounts to a sling stud. If you have a more traditional stock and you want a bipod, you can go that route as well. But bipods are a quick, easy upgrade if you're hunting in a situation where you need to rest your gun on something, but you don't really have anything. So not necessarily if you're hunting out of a stand, because you can just lay it on the door, window, or whatever.
Or put a sandbag in there if you want.
Yep.
If you stand.
That'd work just fine. I've seen people cut like pool noodle and like line their windows with that, so so that you don't have the loud bump whenever you're mounting your rifle.
It's pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, so it works.
But it's not that long ago that you had your choice of either a Harris bipod or some kind of esoteric bench rest bipod, or whatever.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot more out there now, and they've like everything else, they've gotten a lot more affordable because a lot more people are making them.
Right. There's a ton of them out there.
Yep. So I think that was 5, Steve. That's all.
You kind of hit the high spots.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll have some others they want to suggest down in the comments.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We could all use the help.
Absolutely.
So if you do have any questions, comments, or extra special accessories you like to use, please let us know. We'll be glad to hear from you. In the meantime, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.